Hey guys, my name is Stefanie Boone, and my husband and I are born and raised in Forest Hills Public School Districts, and our children attend Forest Hills as well as Lowell area schools. And I just wanted to jump on here and talk to you a little bit about Forest Hills for Just Education. We are a grassroots movement started by just a group of concerned parents like my husband and I who, for some of us it's been years, some of us it's been months, others maybe just joined yesterday. But the thing is, we've all joined together for a common reason. We're all frustrated because we're seeing changes in Forest Hills Public Schools that are very apparent that it is not the public schools system that we were raised in. And we trusted that our children were going to receive the same educational experience with Forest Hills Public Schools that we did. And it's just been apparent over the past couple of years here that that's not the case, and it's a trend that's getting worse. Maybe we all fell asleep at the wheel and just trusted, but it's time that we had come together and decided that we need to take action. And after, year and a half, 2 years, some even longer, all the way up to the ones that just joined yesterday, the frustrations there are the same, and we've come together, tried to address these things with the Forest Hills School Board of Education, the administration, and we do not feel that our voices are being heard. We have a legal right to be closely involved in the education that our kids receive and that we pay for. So I stepped up and I filed recall petition language with the Kent County Clerk's Office, and last Thursday, September 30th, that recall language was approved, and we're just ready to start collecting signatures and get this done. So the two main issues we chose to initiate the recall would be the busing concern and then the lack of live streaming of the Board of Education meetings. So there's a Facebook group that's called the FHPS School Bus Carpool group, and they formed because weekly Forest Hills Public Schools updates which families, which neighborhoods are out of luck for the week because they can't seem to hire enough bus drivers and keep enough bus drivers to keep the system running properly. It's crazy because, FHPS has a $135 million annual budget, but some reason can't keep these bus drivers paid enough to incentivize them enough to want to stay on board with Forest Hills. I know someone in Forest Hills makes over $300,000 a year, but it's definitely not the bus drivers. So it's a concern. We've got parents online literally weighing the risk of, should I send my elementary children to school via Uber or Lyft, because they have no other option. They have to go to work or they're going to get fired from their job. So it's a serious, real concern. I've had it happen to myself multiple times over the past couple years, and I know that other districts are having issues with busing too. It doesn't make it acceptable. It doesn't make it right. So that's a huge concern. Live streaming, Zoom, the board meetings, we are in a virtual world anymore, and so this is just commonplace. And we've had parents for the past year and a half, 2 years, requesting for live stream Board of Education meetings because if they're traveling and working or can't make it, they're at a sporting event for their child, but they still want to join in and have the opportunity to speak or engage and be involved, they have the right to do that. And the Board of Education has flat out denied the request for that on multiple occasions. And we even have it in writing that they just will not do it. It's not in the budget for Forest Hills Public Schools. I find that very hard to believe. Just last September 20th at the board meeting, the board did approve a $34,000 spend to renew the district's Zoom contract. So I'm not sure why we wouldn't have the money to be able to live stream those Board of Education meetings when we certainly have the district working hard to live stream athletic events and other larger events in the district. So they know how to do it. They can't afford to do it. It's a transparency issue. The question is, what are they hiding? So what decisions were being made while the world was shut down and we didn't have access to these meetings. We know for sure that the board surrendered their powers, their decision-making powers for virus mandates, for COVID virus mandates, over to Dan Beam so that he was able to make unilateral decisions about the mandates for the entire district without input from the community, without input from the Board of Education. And they allowed that to happen. So, critical race theory is another hot topic of today. And a few months ago, as parents were starting to see some signs and symptoms of this going on in the schools, we ran a FOIA request to try to find out, well, is this going on in our schools? How big of a problem do we have? And we FOIA'd to find out any communication or emails related to critical race theory going on in the schools. And the results came back with a surprising 400,000 plus hits on the terms critical race theory going on amongst the communications between the Forest Hills Public Schools staff and administration. So if it's not going on in our schools, why were there over 400,000 hits on that? The problem is we couldn't get a hold of all of those hits because they wanted to charge the parents $400,000 for those results. So again, what are they hiding? They should make that readily available to the parents of the public schools. We have a legal right to that information. Other concerns would be challenge classes that have gone by the wayside over the past couple years here to make room for diversity, equity, inclusion. For some reason we have funding for that, but we don't have funding for the challenge classes. And as a result, school rankings are dropping. For example, Forest Hills Central ranked in the top 10 at one point in the niche rankings. Now they're number 23. So we're not going up, we're going down. Seems to me there just needs to be a focus on the basics of education, math, science, social studies, reading. Leave the rest to the parents at home. There's absolutely no accountability. The board is non-responsive to the requests of the parents. If they do respond, they respond with empty words and empty promises. No enforcement of policies. We have a huge transgender bathroom safety concern going on in the schools. Basically, there is a policy in place for transgender bathroom use. However, it's not being followed, and children are kind of being just thrown to the wolves and have to face some safety concerns in the restrooms. They are uncomfortable, they are floundering, it's awkward, it's scary, and it actually is a huge safety concern. So that needs to be addressed immediately. We have current board members right now that are active members of large social media activist groups, and those activist groups are pushing divisive ideology into Forest Hills community and into Forest Hills public schools. So to me, that's a little bit of a conflict of interest there. The list goes on. You can find that on our website. There's a lot of information out there, and all of it is true, unfortunately. And I just want to say that this is nothing personal. I know that there are people that feel that we're being a hateful group, that we're targeting the board because they're bad people. It's not that. It's not about that. I'm sure these people are great people. They're probably good people with good hearts. It's not that at all. This is an employer-employee relationship. And the voters have voted the Board of Education to a certain job, and they are not holding to the duties of their job. So, just like an employer would address an employee with concerns, we have tried to do that and have gotten nowhere. So the time has come that we need to terminate and start fresh with new employees, if you will. So our goal is hefty. We need over 8,000 signatures to get this done. I really feel that we can do this. We've got 10,000 students in Forest Hills Public Schools, so that should equate to around 20,000 just parents of the students, not to mention all of the other community members that would be involved. So we can do this. And if you are interested in being a petition circulator, we are starting to collect signatures now. If you are interested in donating to our campaign efforts, you can contact us at fhforjusteducation@gmail.com. If you are looking for more information about our cause, what we're about, why, as well as signing event information, we'll post that there on our website, as well as opportunities to get involved. You can go to www.fhforjusteducation.org. And yeah, so we'll have scheduled signing events, and we may have some pop-up signing events as well. So just look for us in the Forest Hills community soon. Hope you guys are on board. Hope you can help. Thank you.